occasionally, I apologize.
No problem. Okay, so ready?
Yes.
Okay, the first question I have for you was, I had a chance to listen to your mixtape you released a few weeks back, Sincerely Yours, and I've known you've released mixtapes in the past, and is this one sort of like a prelude to your upcoming solo album?
Not really. I just thought it was a fashionable thing to do. Everyone's doing them.
Yeah.
I mean, mixtapes all the rage, and I don't think anything is ever a prelude to anything. I just kind of do it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, on the Yours Sincerely, I had songs that I'm never going to use, like the interlude is taken from an anime, one of the Japanese cartoons I was watching, and I heard that piece of music, and I wrote that snippet to it.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was cool, so I was like, oh, everyone, look at this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it sounds remotely similar to anything that I have coming up that I want people to pay for.
Yeah.
Mixtapes are, a way of just keeping that rapport with your people, with your fans, and people that want to listen to things that you do, regardless if it's album cuts or something that I just wrote randomly. And yeah, with Yours Sincerely, it had the demo of Don't Matter, that's on the Toy Like It's album. It had the demo of This Love, that was on Glenn Lewis's album. The song Glass wasn't ever going to be used again, as that instrumental, one of the producers gave away the track that we did. So I was like, well, I'm never going to see the light of day with this song, and I thought it was a gorgeous song, so gave it away.
Yeah. Okay, well, I actually appreciate when artists put out mixtapes, and like in this case, for example, now hearing this, I'm even more, I'm ready to hear your solo album. It gets me more excited.
The album is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I say it's amazing. I know it sounds so conceited, but seriously, I listen to it like I'm jealous of whoever did that.
Yeah.
Like, if someone else made this album, I would be sitting at home, like, sulking, like, arms folded, counting.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I think of that? What's wrong with me? Yes, it's one of those. I love it. I'm a fan of myself right now. I brush my shoulders off every now and again. It's disgusting.
Well, before we talk about your upcoming album, tell me because I wasn't really a fan of the song "Put It on Repeat" from your mixtape. Just tell me a little bit about how you came up with this song.
Put It on Repeat. I did the track on GarageBand. I was bored.
Okay.
And I heard this little loop that was in my brain. And I said, oh, I'll put it on repeat. And then played chords, did the whole beat.
Yeah.
And got in the studio, and everyone loved it. And I was like, that's so not me, but being that I produced it myself, people were like, it's a part of you, just do it, just go. And DJs have been picking it up, it's been played on Philly Radio 100.3, the beat has been supporting it, and I'm like, oh, it was just a mixtape song, I wasn't intending, to do anything with it, but it's been shown so much love, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty simple. I mean, I love my Mac computer, I love GarageBand, I've done 1,000,005 ideas on that thing that are on people's albums right now, and it was the saving grace of the track. Like, I really used most of the elements that I used on GarageBand in the actual song.
Wow.
Like,
that's crazy. Okay. Now tell me more about your album coming out later this year. It will be out in the summer, or when can we expect that?
yeah, summer, late summer.
Okay. And
I'll be touring late spring, early summer. Can't wait.
And what can we expect to hear on there?
I really, thankfully, landed in a place that understood me as an artist, understood me musically. Getting in the doors of J Records and Peter Edge supporting my career from way before I was signed to them. I'd done work with Alicia Keys, Mario, Jamie Foxx, and been affiliated with the label for a while. Having these years in between doing all the Floetry stuff and being a songwriter, producer for Dr. Dre and Interscope, it was just my time. The timing was perfect. J Records was just like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And no one's ever asked me that before.
Wow.
It was always put on me. I'd never sought out to do a solo record. They were offered. It was offered to me from the very beginning, getting out here in 2000. Just before Floetry was signed, and I'd never really wanted to do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was always for other people.
Wow.
So J Records sat me down and said, look, what is it exactly that you want?
Yeah.
I'm 32 now. I think I know exactly what I want in life, you know, and that's what my album feels like now. Mm-hmm. It's just honest, it's open, like an open relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As much as I don't really agree with it too much, there's certain boundaries, but there are none on my album.
Yeah.
It's complete trust, it's complete honesty, it's complete love, hate, joy, pain. Anything on there, you name it, I meant it. Mm-hmm. At the time. It's the emotion behind every woman's silence. Let me write that down. That's excellent. Hold on. Sorry. But it is. It's the things that we don't want to say, but we feel. And some people, you know, we put our guards up so much, and the barriers, the insecurities that are there, and every woman can relate. Not even just women, just people in general, just how we live our lives. And I broke myself down. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard thing to have to do. And then to share it with the world, like, oh, God, I'm naked.
Yeah.
It's that dream you have when, you know, you're in school, you know, the most popular kid, but people know you, and you show up to school with no clothes on.
Yep. Wow.
That's what this feels like to me.
Wow.
Like, am I comfortable with my body? Do I not really care that people see me naked? Because for some people, that dream is like, hey, what's up? Party time.
Yeah.
Wasn't a party. A couple years ago, that wasn't a party to me. Right now, I might be, okay, cool. Someone pass me a towel.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay. And sound-wise on this album, you know, is it going to be more traditional R&B, neo-soul? Like, what type of producers have you worked with? Tell me all about that.
It's very soulful. Like, I did a majority of the production on there, and it started with just me and the piano, and I branched out from there. I've been blessed with the opportunity of having the best musicians at my hands. Like, I'm in Philadelphia, like, I can just call Adam Blackstone to go on bass, Rayfield Holloman to get on the keys, Darryl Robinson to get on drums, and it's a jam session.
Yeah.
So it was recorded, and it just feels very, very organic, very authentic. Additionally to that, I had Just Blaze, Focus, Science, Rich Harrison came up with a track that was ridiculous, Bink came up with a ridiculous track, and everything kind of just made sense. I mean, I've been recording my stuff for a while, but it wasn't until the past month or so that everything made sense.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really weird how that happens. I mean, sometimes, even when it came to the mixtapes, the reason why they can be given away, because they're good songs, but not necessarily in a sequence. Like, I wouldn't listen to certain songs back to back to back to back. That's why people make their individual playlists. Yeah. I wanted my album to sound like a playlist that I put together. Like, this is what I would want to listen to at home in this order.
Yeah.
You know, and just getting the elements of all of those producers with the type of sound that I wanted to do for this record to come together in such a short amount of time is just got this crazy ball rolling all over again. And I'm having young panic attacks, but I'm pretty open to be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, tell me about has the transition from, you know, being in a group to putting out a solo album been difficult at all, or has it been a smooth transition since, you know, you were always a writer and you've always done that?
Well, with Floetry, I didn't feel like we were a group.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, let me name some groups. Like, En Vogue, a group. What other female groups? FWV, a group. Like, I don't know, like, Nat and myself, we were two separate entities that did this thing, and when we came together, it made sense. I mean, I've known Nat since I was a kid. Like, we were friends. It wasn't an American Idol or an X Factor competition that put these two talented people together to make a group. Yeah. We didn't say, oh, let's be a group. It was never that. It was, I have this song or I have this concept, and she had a poetry piece to it, and I'd have a melody and a hook or a verse, and it just came together like that. So trying to branch away from that is not difficult. Now I just get to tell my side of the story. I just get to be me this time.
Yep.
And I have to compromise for another's opinion. And I think that was the beauty and the chemistry of Nat and myself, is we never questioned what the other would say. Whatever she felt, she'd say. Whatever I felt, I would say.
Yeah.
I think before, people got it misconstrued that when it came to Floetry, there was a compromise, when there really wasn't. Like, I was writing the songs and coming up with the melodies, and even with our biggest records, they're the ones that you remember. The sound was still there. It was still very soulful, depicted as neo-soul, just because of the time and era and where we were. But where I am now, it's just an extension of that. You know, it's just who you thought I was then, you really get to experience it now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Now, I want to change gears a little. I want to talk about your writing, because one thing I respect about you is that you're a really talented writer. And, you know, I'm the type of person, when I buy an album, you know, I open the liner notes right away and look to see who wrote and produced all the songs. And I just like to hear, yeah, from your perspective, what's it like writing a song from, you know, start to finish?
It's I don't know, it's like magic.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes together, it's like, why am I even thinking this right now? It's crazy. I don't want to sound like I'm like name dropping or anything, but the craziest experience happened to me the other day. I'm in the studio with Jill Scott, of all people. She's like, I love her to death. Her writing, she's ridiculous. So I'm doing something in the studio, and out of nowhere, this whole song comes in my head, and I had to record it right then and there.
Wow.
It's like, it doesn't happen with maybe just a melody or a concept. It was like the piano parts came in. Then I knew what string arrangement I wanted on top of that. I knew where I wanted the beat to drop. I knew what harmony was coming in, and it happened like, it was like a ton of bricks just landed on me.
Yeah.
I was like, that, you know, I can't own that. There's something that God says, you know what, you're meant to do this.
Exactly.
So write that. It's done. Like, I had nothing to do with it. And I think all the experiences I have when it comes to writing music, I just let that feeling take me.
Wow.
I'll let the emotion just go where it's supposed to be.
Wow. That's crazy. That's cool, though.
It is. I'm a nut. I know.
Okay, now, you know, you've written songs for a bunch of other artists, and do you find it harder writing a song for another artist as compared to yourself?
No, really. I enjoy writing, and sometimes I don't intentionally write for that person. It just makes sense to them when, you know, I have a back catalog of hundreds of songs, and they hear something and identify with that particular record.
Yeah.
Prime example is when the Floetry demo went out and Butterflies was on there. Michael Jackson heard it that way. I didn't record it for him.
Yeah.
That was part of my album demo when we were shopping for a deal.
Oh, okay.
So you just never know what people are going to take to. I didn't write Don't Matter for LaToya Luckett. It was my record. She heard it, was like, oh, I need that. And okay, cool, you got it.
Yeah.
Glenn Lewis, the same thing. I was writing for Brandy at the time. He heard one of the records that I had the idea for her, and he ended up cutting the record. So I just never own it. I'm just like, you know what, let me just make the music. Let me do that part. That's the easy part. And then I'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm going to ask you about those Glenn Lewis songs you did later on, but just because... Actually, I'll just ask you about it now, because that's a personal favorite of mine, his debut album. And I know you wrote a bunch of songs for his album on there. You know, I just want to know, from your point of view, what it was like working with him.
It's just, oh man. It's nice to see yourself in someone else.
Okay.
Like, musically, I think when people get together and they make music and it makes sense, it's because you see something of you in that. Like, that's the connection.
Yeah.
And musically, kindred spirits for sure. Like, unbelievable, outrageous experience.
Yeah.
To didn't believe it. Still don't believe it. My life is crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't lie about things that I've done.
Yeah.
Like, the real things that I've done just surpass any lie I could have told when I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ridiculous. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Definitely is. Well, you know, when I heard, you know, This Love on your mixtape, and I heard you add your vocals to it, you know, it really got me hoping I could hear a duet between you two. You know, is that something you think could ever happen?
Oh, that will happen.
Yeah?
That will definitely happen.
Great. That sounds great. Because I wanted to ask you back to the writing. You know, do you have a favorite song that you have written, you know, of your own, or?
This Love was definitely one of them for Glenn Lewis, just because of how it came about. At A Touch of Jazz at the time, having Dre and Vidal at my disposal, it was A-room jam sessions that resulted in great music that happened over that summer of 2000. We made great music, like great albums came out of A Touch of Jazz. It was Music's first album, Jill's first album, Bilal's, Floetry's, Kindred. It was everything going on in that studio. So the A-room that one night, I'd had a conversation with someone that went through that very situation.
Wow.
And I just wrote their thoughts.
Yeah.
I was like, so what happened? I'm like, I've cried all night.
Yeah.
Trying to make it better.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. I recognized my pain. Things were getting harder. So as to, you know, work this out. And I was like, you know what? So at the end of the day, it's love.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, like, it's still love. And it was like, well, it used to be ours. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is it. This is the freaking song. And I've kind of found that the formula for true honesty is what people gravitate towards. Like, even with Butterfly, just that emotion, anyone can have it, anyone has had it, and relate to that record just because that's what it was. So all you've got to do is walk away, pass me by, don't acknowledge my smile. It's like that hard to get feeling, but you're feeling them, you're like, oh man, I have a crush.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's just those, like, man,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm trying to think of what song I don't like that I wrote.
That you don't like?
They're all just different personal moments. It's like you have to release and get those thoughts out. Otherwise I go insane.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I also wanted to ask you, what was it like being part of the Night Riders production crew? You know, you were with a bunch of very talented writers and producers. What was that like?
With the Night Riders, it was a time when I was working out of Atlanta, and Sterling Sims, myself, Mario, like, we were all just around each other. We were in the studio like 24/7, and it just became this thing, and then it kind of ended before it begun type thing.
Yeah.
Because we were all, you know, about to do our own things, and we never really got to exercise what it was that we could have with that whole thing.
Yeah.
But what we did get to do in that short period of time, great.
Yeah.
The whole mixtape, which was done under the influence of alcohol and stuff that you use if you have cataracts.
Okay.
Your soul is dead. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I also wanted to ask you about a collaboration you did a couple years ago with Common on The Light 2008. You know, it's a personal favorite of mine, and I just wanted to know what it was like working on this song, because the original is also a classic, but I really like the version you did also.
Right. I mean, everyone is a fan of the original. It's definitely, I mean, in my opinion, a hip hop classic.
Yeah.
And to have had the opportunity to touch that in any way, like anytime he'd be in town and perform it, I'm like, please just let me do the hook.
Yeah.
Like, I was just want to say, like, look, I'll just sing the hook. And it was amazing. Like, Just Blaze doing it, the spin-off of the Dilla loop, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Cool.
That song is amazing. Like it feels good. I love it.
Yeah.
That's I can't listen to it without tearing up. There's something about the emotion behind that record that makes it very sad and very vulnerable. Even though you're nodding your head, it's with sincerity.
Huh. Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite hip-hop collaborations. Common is excellent. He could breathe on a track. Like, his tone, his cadence is one of those voices that will never be mistaken.
No, definitely. Okay. And of all the collaborations you've done over the years with other artists, because I know you've done a lot, is there one that stands out to you the most as, like, maybe you have a best memory from working on it or anything like that? Just something you can share?
Michael Jackson will be the pinnacle of my career.
Yeah. Okay.
And it blows my mind that I ever got to do that. I mean, having him gone too soon and me maybe aspiring later in my career, that's something you don't think was ever going to happen. So I'm like, 50 years from now, maybe I'll be a Quincy Jones or something and I'll get my shot.
Yeah.
And it happened at the very beginning. And just being in the studio with him and him giving me the opportunity to tell him what to do and how to do it was just, I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
What did I do? Did I win a prize? Where's the cameras? I must be on reality TV. It's a big joke. But no, I was there with Paris and Prince and chilling with him and Bruce Sweetian, the engineer that he's had for years upon years. Recorded some of the best records with him ever, and there's me behind the boards telling Michael what to do for 2 weeks.
Wow. Very cool.
It's the coolest.
Yeah.
Like, I'll forever have cool points for that.
Yep.
Like, regardless of what I don't do, tell you what I did do. You know, because someone always has to point out something. Look, I worked with the best that there'll ever be, ever.
Yep.
And he allowed me to do my thing and told me, well, look, if this is your beginning, imagine what your end is. It's endless. Just go. So, you know what, Mike? You're absolutely right.
Wow, very nice. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So, I also wanted to ask you about a mixtape you released a few years back. You titled it "Neo Soul is Dead." And, you know, that had me thinking. Do you really believe that statement is true these days?
Just as much as Nas believes hip hop is dead, that's how much I believe that statement.
Okay.
It was really, I mean, it was definitely, it derived from how he used the title.
Yeah.
You're not, of course, hip hop isn't dead. You are hip hop.
Yeah.
Neo Soul, the term just got out of hand.
Yeah, I agree.
I was like, what the heck is this? And why am I in there?
Yeah.
Like, what is this bubble? Get me out of here, please. I don't drink tea all the time. I don't really burn incense because sometimes it affects my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, it was out of hand. I was like, everything you think you believe, it's about to go out the window. And we did a parody of what people were saying online when they heard that I'd signed to Dre, which I hadn't at all at the time. It was rumored that I'd signed to Dre, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to rap. It's going to be hilarious. So what we started out as a Night Writer's joke in Atlanta blew up as this thing. And I was like, oh man, people are way too serious. Way too serious.
Yeah.
Like, you live your life like that. Right. And I was like, you know what? They don't know me at all.
Yeah.
I'm not so mad at that.
Okay.
Yeah, my parents hated it. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I was bored. We had free time. I was like, at the same time, I did a whole bunch of other records that are on fan favorite albums now. Like, it's just, those were the 10, 15 minutes in between those breaks.
Yeah.
And to do a mixtape that got everywhere and was played everywhere and critiqued good and bad everywhere.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to see what you thought about that, because
it was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay.
My favorite one, it has to be G's and Hustlers, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Spitting bars on that.
Yeah.
Hustlers, dealers, I'm a night rider. Make that paper, I got that fire. All your favors must be tired. I'm explosive, all the nicer. Bars.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, I cracked myself.
No, it's cool. I was reading in your bio, that while you were attending the Brits Performing Arts School, you studied business and finance, and that hit home with me, because that's basically what I'm studying for my MBA. And I was wondering, have these courses helped you at all during your career at any time? And also, did you see yourself before music? What did you see yourself pursuing as a career?
Okay, first, I think all the schooling that I did do definitely gave me a clue. But when you get into the industry, no one really plays by the rules. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
Like, sharks are everywhere, and shady business is dominant. So I didn't do too many courses on, well, what happens if it's illegal? Like, what happens if people just are straight rolling? Like, you just have to learn that for yourself. Like, the grit and the work experience of being in the business is the lesson. School, yes, you do need it. Great, go and stay and qualify and all that other good stuff. But when you actually get into it, you're like, well, why the heck did I even bother if no one was going to follow these guidelines that I invested so much time in learning?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was somewhat useful, I guess. For me, I'm okay. I haven't been sued.
Yeah. Okay. No.
What was the other part of your question?
For a career, what did you see yourself at that point doing for a career in the future if you didn't do music?
I don't know. I'd like to teach. I like to do creative writing workshops and singing lessons and something like that. I mean, I've been a basketball player up until the ages of 20 and 21.
Yeah.
When my injury said, you won't play anymore. Sit down.
Yeah.
And, I had to sit down and come up with plan B, which is kind of working out for me.
Yep.
So I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead.
Yeah.
Even with the trip to the U.S. in 2000, when Nat and myself decided to do this poetry and singer thing that we then coined Floetry, I didn't know that was going to work out. That wasn't a plan.
Yeah. That
was just something that came out that summer. Like, oh, here's a free trip to Atlanta. We have a friend out there who's doing these perform. And it's turned out into 10 years of my life.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned basketball, and I was reading also in your bio that, is it true that you were going to be attending Georgia Tech?
Yeah,
and
that was prior to me getting injury that summer, which prevented me from going.
I just wanted to ask you, was there any other schools that were, like, big-name schools that were recruiting you for basketball?
Well, I played against the best of the best and kind of been seen by schools, but at that time I was still doing the virtual performing arts, and I'd been injured, so I kind of just, I don't know, it struck a chord with me, because I hadn't thought about getting injured. I mean, when you're a singer, I'm not thinking about getting a cold and not being able to sing that day. Like, what do you mean I'll lose my voice? It was that.
Okay.
Like, I've been playing basketball since the age of 7. And then I couldn't play.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't even care.
Oh, okay.
Who's offering?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I see what
don't
you
even
mean.
tell me.
Okay. And the last question I just want to ask you, because I'm sure a lot of fans want to know this, but do you think there will ever be a reunion with you and Natalie to do another Floetry album?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Okay. That's fair.
It's like I haven't known the past 10 years to get me to this point. Like, I'm sitting in, like, cribs in Philly. I didn't know I have a crib in Philly.
Yeah.
And we'd be on the phone right now talking about what I'd done the past 10 years.
Yeah.
With more to come. And, yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that's very fair. I understand. Okay, so that's pretty much all I had. You know, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview.
That's okay.
And, you know, I wish you the best of luck in the future, and I'm really looking forward to your new album.
Thank you very much. Well, we'll have to do a follow-up when you actually hear it.
Definitely.
Tell me what you think.
I definitely will. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I definitely told you what I think.
Yeah. Great. Thanks a lot for everything.
You're welcome.
Take care.